Welcome back, dear listener. Are you comfortable? Good. Let us return together to Newmansland, to that old stone farmhouse by the sea, where snow lies soft on the fields and mysteries walk in from the tide. When we left our story, I, Rizo, had seen the strange footprints in the snow, tracks that led from the sea to our garden gate and back again. Newman had confirmed he knew what made them, but offered nothing more, as is his way. And now, morning has come again, the second morning of snow. And with it, the day Sophie goes to market. I woke to the sound of the wood stove being fed. That particular crackle and sigh as kindling catches, as larger logs settle into their slow burn. Sophie was already up, moving through the cold morning house, bringing it back to warmth and wakefulness. From my window seat, I could see that it had snowed again in the night. Not much, just enough to erase the mysterious footprints, covering them with a fresh page of white. I felt oddly relieved by this, though I couldn't say why. Some mysteries are meant to fade with the dawn, I suppose. Some questions answer themselves by disappearing. Rookie bounded into the library, fully awake and fizzing with energy. The young have such remarkable reserves of enthusiasm. "She's going to market today," she announced, as if I might have forgotten. "She said she'll bring us treats. Do you think she means salmon? I hope she means salmon. Or perhaps that special pâté from the shop with the blue door. Or..." "Rookie," I interrupted gently. "Whatever she brings will be exactly right. But what if..." Rookie went on. "It will be exactly right," I repeated, with the patience one learns from living with the young and energetic. Termi appeared in the doorway, his ginger bulk already emanating calm, despite the early hour. "The woman is making a list," he observed in his quiet way. "I saw her in the kitchen, writing things down. She does this when she wants to remember something important." We three cats made our way downstairs, drawn by the warmth and the smell of Sophie's breakfast. Tartines with butter and the dark cherry jam she makes each summer. Newman was already there, of course, sitting on his chair, his cream-colored fur glowing softly in the morning light, looking as though he'd been there since before time began. Sophie noticed us gathering and smiled. "Good morning, mes chéris. Yes, I'm going to Saint Malo today, to the Christmas market in the old walled city. I'll be gone a few hours, but I'll be back before dark." She glanced at the window, at the pale morning light. "Though dark comes so early now, doesn't it? The year winding down toward the solstice. Toward the turning," Sophie said softly, almost to herself. And I saw Newman's ears twitch slightly. The solstice. The longest night. The moment when the wheel turns and the light begins, slowly, slowly, to return. "I'll bring back a tree," Sophie continued, addressing us directly now, as she often does. Some people think it's strange to talk to cats, as if we understand every word. These people are not as observant as they believe themselves to be. "A small one," she said. "Something with good bones and a noble bearing. And treats for you, my four philosophers. And perhaps..." She paused, buttering another piece of bread. "Perhaps some candles. The kind that smell of pine in winter. And I want to find something for the garden. A lantern, maybe, or a statue." Something that belongs here but hasn't arrived yet." This last sentence hung in the air, strange and specific. Newman looked at her for a long moment, his blue eyes steady and knowing, then closed them in what might have been approval. After breakfast, we watched Sophie prepare for her journey. She layered herself in wool, a thick sweater the color of moss, a scarf her mother had knitted years ago, the heavy coat that smells of wet weather and adventure. She pulled on boots, found her gloves, checked her bag 3 times for her wallet and keys. "Be good," she told us. "Though we are always good. We simply have different definitions of goodness than humans do. Keep each other company. Keep the house warm with your presence." And then she was gone, out the door into the white morning. We heard the sound of her small car starting, the crunch of tires on snow, the sound fading, as she made her way down the lane toward the road that would take her to the ancient walled city of Saint-Malo. Houses are different when the humans leave, not better or worse, simply different. They relax somehow, settling into themselves, revealing aspects they keep hidden when human eyes are watching. We 4 cats spread out through Newmansland, each to our preferred occupation. Rookie, her energy finally finding purpose, decided to explore the attic. She'd been wanting to for weeks, but Sophie discourages it. Too many fragile things up there. Too many memories stored in cardboard boxes and old trunks. But with her gone, the attic called to her, and who were we to deny her this adventure? Termi took up his guardian position near the garden window, that spot where he could watch both the house and the world beyond. He settled in for what appeared to be a day of contemplative watchfulness, his ginger bulk solid and reassuring, his presence saying, "I am here, all is well, the tribe is safe." Newman went to the back door and sat there, looking out, waiting, always waiting. As for me, I felt restless. Those footprints from the night before, now covered by fresh snow, had left me with an unsettled feeling. Not fear exactly, more like anticipation, like standing at the edge of something about to unfold. I went to the barn. The covered passage between house and barn held its familiar smell of the must of time, my breath misting slightly in the cold air. The barn was dim and vast, full of the peaceful gloom that barns possess. And above in the rafters, I found Argentée. She was awake, both eyes open now, watching me approach with that unsettling directness that owls have. Owls don't look at you. They look through you, into you, seeing things you don't know you're hiding. "Little Rizo, you come seeking answers," she said in her silent way. "The footprints," I admitted, speaking my thoughts aloud as I always must. "The ones from last night. Newman said he knew what made them." "And so he does," Argentée replied. "Newman knows many things. He traveled far to get here. He carries memories of other places, other times. He and Sophie, they came together across distances that matter," she whispered. "What does that mean?" The owl shifted on her perch, her talons gripping the old beam with casual certainty. "There are some creatures, Rizo, who belong to more than one world, who walk in the space between here and there, between what is and what was, and what might yet be. Newman is such a creature, I think. He came from somewhere else with Sophie, and part of him never truly left that somewhere else." "But the footprints," I replied. They were made by something coming to see him, to check on him, to remind him that he is remembered wherever he came from. Argente replied, "It is Christmas after all, the season when the veils grow thin, when the past reaches toward the present, when those who have traveled far think of home." Her amber eyes caught the dim light. I sat down, my tail curled around my paws, considering this. "Will it come back? The thing that made the prince?" I asked. "Perhaps. Perhaps not. Doesn't matter," Argente replied. "I don't know," I said honestly. "Then let the mystery be a mystery," Argente suggested, her tone gentle for an owl. "Not everything needs to be understood. Some things need only to be witnessed, to be allowed." I returned to the house to find Rookie descending from the attic. Her tiger-striped fur, dusty with cobwebs, her bright eyes shining with discovery. "Rizo!" she called, spotting me. "You should see what's up there." Boxes and boxes of things. Old photographs. I don't understand photographs, but they seem important. And books. Books with pages so old, they smell like time itself. And there's a trunk full of clothes that must have belonged to someone very small, or very long ago, and... She paused for breath. "There's a box labeled Noel. Christmas. I couldn't open it. Maybe we should wait for Sophie." "Wise," I agreed, though Wisdom and Rookie were not frequent companions. "But Rizo," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "There was something else. In the corner, under a sheet. Something big and round." I pulled back the corner of the sheet, just a tiny bit, and I saw feathers, or something like feathers. Bronze, maybe, or gold. And I had the strangest feeling, like it was looking at me, even though it had no eyes. "Perhaps you shouldn't have disturbed it," I suggested. "I didn't disturb it," Rookie protested. I simply acknowledged it, and then I covered it back up and came downstairs very quickly. Despite her casual tone, I could see the fur along her spine was still slightly raised. Whatever she'd seen had unsettled her, though she was trying to hide it. "Should we tell Newman?" she asked. We looked around, but Newman, as usual, was nowhere to be seen. Present and absent simultaneously, existing in his own mysterious way. The day moved forward in its winter way, the light never quite bright, the shadows never quite gone. Termi remained at his post, barely moving, occasionally making small sounds in his sleep. Those dream chirps and mutterings that told us he was hunting in other realms, watching over territories we couldn't see. When he woke, his purr would rumble through the house, loud and rusty like an old engine, a sound of contentment and protection. Rookie, exhausted from her attic adventure, found a sunbeam and curled up in it. But even in sleep, her paws twitched. Water dreams, perhaps, swimming through puddles, chasing reflections. I wandered the house, room to room, talking softly to myself as I went. "The light is changing," I observed to no one in particular. "The afternoon is aging. Sophie will return soon. I wonder what she'll bring. I wonder what the tree will look like. I wonder." Newman appeared beside me, as he does, his cream-colored presence suddenly there. "You wonder many things, Rizo," he said gently. "I can't help it," I replied. "My mind needs to speak what it sees." "I know," he said. "It is your gift. To name things. To notice, to bear witness." And then he was gone again, padding away on silent paws, leaving me to my wondering. It was mid-afternoon when we heard the car returning. Rookie woke instantly, as the young do, going from deep sleep to full alertness in a heartbeat. Termi opened one eye, then the other, then rose and stretched with elaborate care, his ginger bulk rippling. And Newman appeared, simply appeared, near the front door, waiting. I joined them. We 4 cats sat in a row, watching as Sophie came through the door, bringing with her a rush of cold air, the smell of salt and snow, the energy of the outside world. "Mes amours," Sophie called, setting down her bags. "I'm home! Wait until you see what I found." She was flushed with cold and happiness, her eyes bright. The market had been good to her. She shrugged off her coat, unwound her scarf, and began unpacking her treasures like a child at her own birthday. "First," she said, producing a small wrapped package from the largest bag. "Treats for you, my philosophers." She unwrapped it to reveal 4 small tins, pâté from the shop, with the blue door that Rookie had hoped for. Salmon for me, chicken liver for Termi, duck for Rookie, and for Newman, something special, venison, wild and rich. "And this," she continued, her voice taking on a different quality, softer, more wondering. "This I found quite by accident." She drew out something wrapped in old cloth. Slowly, carefully, she unwrapped it. It was a statue. Stone, ancient-looking, about the size of a cat. It depicted a creature sitting on its haunches. A cat, perhaps. Or a dog. Or something in between. Its features were worn smooth by time and weather. But its posture spoke of patience, of watching, of waiting. And though its eyes were merely indentations in the old stone, they seemed aware. The woman at the market said it came from an old property inland, from a garden wall where it had sat for perhaps 100 years, maybe more. She said. Sophie paused, running her finger gently over the statue's worn head. She said it was a guardian, that whoever owned it should place it where they wanted protection, where they wanted good things to enter and bad things to be kept at bay. Newman, who had been sitting quietly, stood up and walked over to the statue. He circled it once, twice, 3 times, looking at it from every angle. Then he sat down directly in front of it and stared at it for a long, long moment. And we all felt it. A recognition, a connection, as if the statue and Newman were communicating in some language older than words, older than memory. "And now, for the tree," Sophie said, breaking the spell gently. "It's still in the car. I'll need to bring it in." She went back out into the cold. We heard her wrestling with something in the boot of the car. Rookie ran to the window to watch, her tail swishing with excitement. "It's taller than she is," she reported. "Well, almost. And it's full of branches. So many places to hide. So many places to climb." "We will not climb the Christmas tree," Termi said firmly from his guardian spot. "We will not climb the Christmas tree," Rookie repeated dutifully, but her tone suggested, This was more aspiration than conviction. Sophie managed to maneuver the tree through the door. A noble pine, just as she had promised, with good bones and a wild, untamed quality to its branches. It smelled of forest, of resin, of the earth it had grown from. It brought the outside in, the wild into the domestic, the eternal into the temporary. She set it up in the corner of the library, in the old iron stand that had been there empty since before any of us arrived. The tree seemed to settle into place, as if it had always belonged there, as if the room had been waiting for it all along. "Tomorrow I'll decorate it," Sophie said, stepping back to admire her work. "With simple things. Candles, the real kind. The kind that need watching. And perhaps some of the wooden ornaments from the attic. And dried oranges. And whatever else feels right." Newman, who had finally left the statue, walked to the tree. He sat beneath it, looking up through its branches at the ceiling above, and he began to purr. We could all hear it, that deep, rumbling contentment that only cats can produce. That sound that means, yes, this is right, this is good, this is as it should be. As the short December day faded toward night, Sophie made dinner. A soup again, but this time made rich with cream and mushrooms she'd bought at the market. She sliced bread, poured wine into a glass the color of garnets, and she lit candles throughout the house. We gathered as we always do in the evening, drawn together by something more than habit, by belonging, by the simple animal knowledge that says, here is family, here is warmth, here is home. The new tree stood in the corner, undecorated but perfect, filling the room with its forest presence. The stone statue sat on the mantel above the wood stove where Sophie had placed it, its worn features catching the candlelight, its patient posture somehow watchful and protective. Outside, beyond the windows, the snow lay soft and deep, and the moon was rising again, one day closer to full, one day closer to the solstice. Sophie ate her dinner slowly, savoring each spoonful. She was tired, we could see. The good tiredness that comes from a day well spent, from adventures undertaken and successfully completed. "Do you know what day it is?" she asked us. We waited. "It's the day before solstice. Tomorrow night is the longest night of the year." She looked at the tree, at the statue, at us 4 cats arranged around the kitchen in our various poses of contentment. "I think," she said softly, "that this will be a special Christmas. I can feel it." "Can you feel it?" "Something in the air. Something waiting to happen. Something—" She trailed off, unable to find the words. But we knew what she meant. We felt it too. Newman, from his chair by the stove, opened his blue eyes and looked at each of us in turn. At Rookie with her boundless energy and water-obsessed enthusiasm. At Termi with his solid guardian presence and rusty purr. At me with my questions and my need to speak what I see. At Sophie with her kind heart and her artist's soul. And then he looked at the statue on the mantel. And again, something passed between them. The ancient stone creature and the cream-colored cat who traveled by train, communicating in ways we could not follow. That night, after Sophie had gone to bed, after the house had settled into its sleeping self, I found myself once again unable to rest. The moon was so bright it cast shadows through the windows, turning the house into a place of silver and darkness. I went to the library, to my window, and there, in the snow-covered garden, I saw them again. Footprints. But this time they were different. This time there were two sets. The large, strange ones from the night before, and beside them, smaller prints. Familiar prints. Cat prints. Newman's prints. They led from the back door into the garden, around the spot where the stone statue would be able to see if statues could see. And then, both sets together walked toward the edge of the property, toward the stone walls, toward the field that led down to the sea, and there they stopped. Not returning, not continuing, simply stopping, as if Newman and whatever had come to visit him had stood there together, looking out at something we couldn't see, sharing something we couldn't know. And then the prints simply faded, not as if they'd walked away, more as if the creatures who made them had simply ceased to be there in any physical sense, as if they'd stepped sideways out of the world, or into another layer of it, leaving only the impression of their presence behind. I stayed at the window for a long time, dear listener, looking at those prints in the moonlight, trying to understand, trying not to understand, trying simply to accept that some things exist in the space beyond explanation. Eventually, I heard a soft sound behind me. Rookie padding into the library, her tiger-striped form moving silently. "Can't sleep?" she asked quietly, joining me at the window. "Too many questions," I admitted. "Newman's gone outside," Rookie observed, looking at the prints. "Will he be all right?" "Newman is always all right," I said, with more confidence than I felt. "He's Newman." We sat together in the moonlight, looking out at the mysterious prints in the snow, at the garden sleeping under its white blanket, at the world that held more magic than either of us could fully comprehend. "Rizo," Rookie asked after a while, "is Christmas always like this? So full of, I don't know, waiting, anticipation, magic?" I thought about this carefully. "I think," I said slowly, "that Christmas is always a little bit magical. But this year in this place with the snow and the tree and that statue and Newman being Newman. Yes, I think this year is special. This year the magic is stronger." "Good," Rookie said simply. "I like magic." Behind us, Termi's voice rumbled from somewhere in the darkness. That rusty purr of his. "We all like magic, little one. We are cats, we are made of magic." And it was true. We are made of magic. We, cats. We walk between worlds, as naturally as we walk between rooms. We see things humans don't see. We know things humans have forgotten. And here in Newmansland, on this night before Christmas, with the solstice coming tomorrow, and mysteries walking through the snow, we were as close to the heart of magic as we'd ever been. Eventually, Rookie yawned. A huge yawn that showed all her teeth and made her eyes water. And she padded off to her basket. Termi had already returned to his spot near the garden window, to his guardian vigil, his watchful dreams. And I remained at the window, keeping watch, as I often do, speaking softly to myself, about what I saw, what I wondered, what might be. The moon moved slowly across the sky. The candles burned lower. The house breathed its gentle sleeping breath around me. And then, just as I was finally considering sleep myself, I saw movement at the edge of the garden. Newman. He was walking back toward the house alone, moving with his usual deliberate grace. His cream-colored fur seemed to glow in the moonlight, almost luminous. He looked up at the window. Even from this distance, I could see his blue eyes catch the moonlight like sapphires, like forget-me-nots, like pieces of summer sky. He was different somehow, not in any way I could name, not in his appearance or his movement, just different, as if he'd been somewhere that had changed him in some small, fundamental way, as if he'd remembered something important, or learned something necessary, or been given some gift we couldn't see. He reached the back door and sat down, waiting patiently for someone to let him in. I jumped down from my window seat and made my way to the door, opened it. We cats have our ways. I let Newman back into the warmth of the house. He paused in the doorway, looked at me and said, "Thank you, young Rizo." Young Rizo. He'd never called me that before. "Where did you go?" I asked, needing to voice the question that filled my mind. "To remember," he said simply, "and to say hello to an old friend." "The creature in the snow?" "Yes." "Will it come back?" "Tomorrow night," Newman said. "On the solstice. The longest night. When the wheel turns. When what was lost can find its way home." He walked past me then, heading toward his chair by the wood stove, leaving me with more questions than answers, as always. But this time, somehow, I didn't mind the questions. I was content to let them exist, to let the mystery unfold in its own time, in its own way. And so, dear listener, we come to the end of part 2 of our story. Tomorrow will be the solstice, the longest night, and then Christmas Eve. The tree stands waiting for its decorations. The stone statue keeps its watchful vigil. Newman has walked with mysteries in the snow, and returned changed in ways we cannot quite name. And something is coming, something that left footprints, something that Newman calls an old friend. But that is a story for tomorrow. For tonight, let your breathing slow. Let your body settle into softness. Let your mind release its grip on questions and simply rest in the not knowing. The gentle mystery, the peaceful darkness that holds all things. In Newmansland, the cats are sleeping now. Sophie is sleeping. Even the house is sleeping, dreaming its house dreams of all the years it has seen, all the lives it has sheltered, all the Christmas mornings that have dawned within its walls. And you, dear listener, should sleep too. The story will be here tomorrow, waiting for you like a gift, wrapped in moonlight and snow. Bonne nuit. Sleep well. Rest gently in the magic.